All about cooking, all about nutrition, and all about you. Enjoy the show. Today's show brought to you by Fit to Love. How to get physically, emotionally, and spiritually fit to attract the love of your life. Get your copy today. Today's show, homemade mayonnaise. Oh, I'm so excited about today's show. I've been waiting to do tuna salad and egg salad for you guys because I wanted to have Jeannie show us how to make homemade mayonnaise. So first, let's talk about mayonnaise. Let's talk about what we want to look for if we're going to buy it, what we want to stay away from if we're going to buy it, and then obviously you're going to show us how to make it homemade, which is always the healthiest choice to do, is to make it by yourself. So
a couple things, with mayonnaise, the key thing to look for is what kind of oils are used. And these days, it's hard to find a mayonnaise that isn't being made with either soybean oil or canola oil. So if you're going to choose those oils, which are not my favorite, at least make sure they're not genetically modified. So make sure it's a GMO free. That at least is going to get you a little bit in a better place. But if you can, maybe look at something that might be like a sunflower oil. It's hard to find,
What about olive oil? I've seen olive oil mayonnaise.
Yes, most of the time you'll see olive oil and it'll be a smidgen. So things on if you're looking on ingredients, they're listed according to weight. So a lot of times you'll see olive oil in the middle, not the first oil. It'll typically be soybean oil and then there'll be a little olive oil in there. So it's marketing, and that's why you guys want to learn how to make this, because it's easy. Once you learn, you're never going to go back and buy your own dressings. If you were a vegan, if you were somebody that, had some concerns about dairy, there's a lot of good veganese type dressings, but
they're all soybean oil.
They're all soy and canola,
oil.
right? So, good reason for people to listen into the little presentation I did on your TV show around oils and why you want to choose them. So I want to go ahead and show you, there's only 4 ingredients in this recipe, so this is easy. You can do this. So
I've made this before and it didn't solidify, so I'm really looking forward to this.
This one is and this is the way that I'm doing this is truly something that'll only take you about a minute. So let me just show you how you approach it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put in a whole egg. And I happen to have my own chickens, and I can tell you that this egg was just laid. It's practically still warm. And the cool thing about when you have your own chickens, there's a natural preservative on these shells that actually helps to make it so that it's fresher. You don't get that when you're buying your eggs from the store, because they have to put in something to help make them so they're safer.
Put them in where? In the chicken? In the feed?
When they come out of when the eggs come out, there is actually a natural preservative on them. So I rinse them up, but I don't have to refrigerate my eggs. So for all of you chicken lovers out there that are looking for another reason to get chickens, this is another reason. Eggs are just naturally a kind of a golden color. So when you look at the typical mayonnaises that you see in the grocery store, there's not a lot of yolks that are being put in there because they're mostly white, right? They're not. This is my mayonnaise. Look at the color of that.
And it's just but it does say yolks on the.
They'll say yolks, but they're not probably putting a lot of yolk in. So whatever's the first ingredient is what they're putting mostly into that product, and there's maybe a smidgen of yolk in there, so they can get away with giving it that claim, that marketing claim.
Okay.
So we're going to put in our egg, and then we're going to add to that, you have to put some lemon. And if it wasn't lemon, if you're not somebody who's got access to a lemon, no biggie. You can always use a lime, or you could use vinegar. So you could put in what would be equivalent to maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons of vinegar, lemon juice, lime juice, any kind of acid. It's going to help cut the amount of, the neutrality of the oils. The oils are fat. It's all fat. So
when I made it, it was in the food processor, and it said to use that, but I thought that had something to do with the solidification of it. No,
what's actually going to help to solidify it is your mustard. So you do have to get some mustard. Ideally, you get like a Dijon mustard. It's pretty simple, 2 or 3 ingredients, not like a yellow mustard like you'd use when you're eating a hot dog or something. So I put in about a teaspoon. So, a little squidge in there. If you're the type that doesn't know how to measure, you don't have to eye it. You can just use a measuring device.
I very rarely use them.
Yeah.
I tell them what to put in, and then I, go like this.
So then I'm going to put in a little bit of salt. Okay, so again, pinch of salt. And now I'm going to use my oils. And when it comes to the mayonnaise, sometimes just to use a straight olive oil. Some olive oils, particularly when they're extra virgin, or maybe they're coming from Spain or some of the other countries in the Mediterranean, sometimes they're strong and they can be a little acrid. They can have a little bit of a bitterness to them. So I found straight olive oil wasn't my first choice. I am crazy about this oil. So this is a combination of sunflower and red palm oil. So sunflower oil is grown almost exclusively these days, either in Canada or the Ukraine. And the Ukraine really has the practices that they use in growing their sunflowers are much more sustainable. So these nuts are very high quality, very high in vitamin E, which is great. Most of us could use more of that. The palm is what gives it this bright, beautiful orange color, and it's what made this mayo turn out to be kind of that bright color. Those colors in here are phenols, which actually are full of antioxidants. So this mayonnaise is going to be full of enzymes, antioxidants. You could push this on your face, JJ, and make a facial out of this, and it would be amazing for you. So this oil is great. You can find it at a lot more stores. One thing I would say always to look for is just to make sure it says GMO free. That's just your assurance that you know that things are not been tainted in any way that could really be create some inflammation in the body. And then a couple of other things to recognize. This is organic, and it's using cold press, so it's pressing these fats from these grains or from the sunflower seeds, actually seeds, in a way that's actually really more sustainable. So we're going to go ahead and put in what would be about a cup. And I'm just going to go ahead and pour it in. And if I was somebody that wanted to mix my oils, you know, you could throw in a little bit of some very mild flavored oil like a macadamia nut or an avocado. So it doesn't have to be just straight this oil. In fact, just to make my point, why don't I put a little bit of olive oil in here? And this is just good old Trader Joe's. And
organic Kalamata.
Yeah, it's you know, so you know, a nice.
No, that wasn't
yeah,
Kalamata.
so this is cold pressed from Italy. So I put in what's about a cup. And maybe I'm going to put a little bit more oil in here. So, you know, it could just be a third oil. I mean, it could be, I could put a little macadamia or an avocado. Those are very neutral flavored oils. Here's what I'm going to do right now. I'm using something called...
Oh, we all know about this. JJ uses it on virtually every show.
Yeah, right.
Except mine isn't red. I really want this red one.
I could trade.
I'm going to back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Just to...
No, this is just, so what I'm going to do is just to start to mix these ingredients together. So already everything is starting to get emulsified. And I can just lift this up a little bit here. And you can see the color that's starting to change. I don't know if you can get the camera to see that. I'm going to just go ahead and lift up just a little bit more. It's starting to get a little thicker. Now, if you really want it to be very thick, you could add a little bit more oil to it. So I can put in, it's getting thick right now.
Well, in order to use it in tuna salad or egg salad.
Yeah, it thickens up.
Yeah.
So it's basically done. And the interesting thing is that I used a mason jar for a reason, because I wanted to be able to have it so that I could stick this in the refrigerator and have it so. So this is the oil right now. It's a little bit thin, but I can tell you that as it sits, it gets a little thicker. So this was one that I made yesterday, and that's the consistency that I like of my mayonnaise. If you wanted it thicker, just add more oil. All right, so you might put your oil all the way up to the very top, and that's going to give you even a thicker mayonnaise. So you don't need to change any other ingredient. But that's easy, folks. This is easier than, let's say, going into the grocery store and trying to find one that's healthy. I mean, this took us like, what, maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Right, minus the talking. And of course, all the ingredients are organic, and you don't know that when you're necessarily getting your mayonnaise at the store. And you can make it in a pinch. So if you run out of mayonnaise, it'd take you more time to go get it than it would be to make it. And these are ingredients that you have at your house, most of us.
Yeah, and if you wanted to play with it, let's just say at this point, maybe I'm making a chicken salad, so if I wanted to, I could just throw some chopped herbs in here. I could put in a little bit of chopped garlic. I can blend this back up, you know, and it'll actually turn almost kind of a, oh, you've got that. Let's take a look here.
Yeah.
That's all right. Why don't I just let's just try it. We'll put this on and give it a little whirl. And I just want to show you how it'll turn into a kind of a beautiful green color now. So this would be great, like if you wanted to put this on top of deviled eggs. All right, there we go, JJ. We can just slide it over here. So I just mixed that together, and now you've got beautiful dill-flavored mayonnaise. So, you know, any herb that you might have on hand, whether it's basil or thyme or oregano, or you can just put that in, and you've got, this is spring. You know, you have asparagus. This would be fantastic to serve with asparagus,
Absolutely.
right? So, all right, guys, you can make your own mayo. You can do this.
Let us know. I'm really curious. Let us know what oils you like the best. Come on over to fittolove.tv and let us know.
Excellent.
The Fit to Love podcast show offers you 6 days a week of helpful content to achieve the happy life you deserve. Movement Mondays and Tasty Tuesdays are weekly video casts, while Wellness Wednesdays, Thoughtful Thursdays, Freedom Fridays, and Sexy Saturdays are audio-only shows themed every week to address your holistic life and needs. If the show inspired you, we would love for you to share it and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us today. Head on over to fittolove.tv for recaps of every show, resources, and to join the community. That's FIT2LOVE.tv. Have a fit and fabulous day.